Here's the biggest thing that I did right early on in my entrepreneurial career, but I didn't even realize it until way later on. Hi, my name is Amit Gaglani. I'm a healthcare entrepreneur, and I've had the benefit and success of growing my company and selling it twice. Now, how I did that was I was actually taught how to be a healthcare CEO. So now I spend my time helping my clients to achieve their success. And what that usually means for them is better margins, more profitability, and a life that they can call their own, as opposed to when they started off in practice, what they started doing was building themselves up and really just working another job. So now they get to have a little bit more freedom. Now, this doesn't happen overnight. We put systems in, we work with them, we find out what their goals and dreams are, and then we work towards it. Their goals become my goals, and yes, it can happen. It can become a reality. Here's what I did right early on in my career. Didn't even realize it until way later on. I realized that in my practice, I was the one doing everything. Now, initially, it was honestly me. I didn't have any other employees. I started off as a one-man shop. I was doing the marketing. I was doing patient treatment, checking in, checking insurance. The only thing I didn't do was billing, because that was a whole animal I didn't want to get involved with, so I outsourced my billing initially. But being a one-man shop has its pros and has its cons. Buck stops here is a pro. I know that if everything was going right, it was because of what I was doing. The con is you can only grow so much, and yeah, you get stressed, and then it can lead to burnout if you're doing too much. So we all know, okay, so you get a receptionist, right? You hire somebody that sounds good, that seems very nice, and you hire them, and then you start to find out the weaknesses of those things. You start to grow, you want to hire another physical therapist, or you want to increase your space. These are the basic things that we all know. Well, I started to realize that when I was busy, I couldn't do any kind of marketing. I couldn't get any more new patients. But, when I went out and did marketing, there wasn't enough patients. So it was basically a roller coaster. When I went out, I would get more new patients and I would become successful. But because I was successful, I couldn't go out. So then it would dip back down. So my life was like a roller coaster. And I knew that there's got to be a better way. But I was making money and I was kind of happy until I kind of realized that it still wasn't the kind of money that I wanted to actually live my life. So then I had a couple different friends that said, you really need to get trained in this stuff. You became an OCS, you're obviously a PT, and you know how to treat patients really well, but do you understand the business? And I really said, honestly, I don't really understand the business. I understand treating patients, collecting their copay, and then treating more patients, but I didn't have a business plan. I had no idea what I was doing. And I would turn to my friends and ask what they were doing. I'll be honest, they didn't know any better either. So I started to understand that there is management training that one can get, and there is people out there that will help. And that's when, the world of private and tailored coaching became a reality for me. I hired a coach that had success in physical therapy specifically, and they started mentoring me and they started telling me what to do. And now I'm doing the same thing for others. And I will tell you, it made a tremendous difference in my practice. First of all, they were my accountability coach. They let me know, we put together the tasks and we put together, the goals, but then they expected me to deliver on a weekly basis. I had my things that I was supposed to deliver, and if I didn't, they would call me out on it. And yeah, they would call me out on it, but it kept me in line. It kept me pushing and pushing and pushing to the point where I kept getting more and more success. I would hire additional staff with an idea of what I was doing with them, what they were supposed to do, what products they were supposed to get out. And if they didn't, then there was repercussions to it too. And sure, I made bad mistakes. And sure, I made bad hires and I had to let go people. Sometimes people left me, sometimes I fired people, but that's normal in any business. But I had a plan. That plan wasn't just in my head, it was on paper, and we went at it like you would go at any other goal, step by step by step. And my company continued to grow from one office to 2 offices to 3 offices to 4 offices. And then other opportunities came open and available to me. Physicians started reaching out to me because they wanted to send their patients to me, as opposed to me begging them to please send, please send, please send. We had a marketing division that handled marketing. We had a production division, which was obviously the physical therapist, where we would do the actual treating. I was stepping more and more out of physical therapy, of treating it. I did a minimum that I enjoyed doing. I did vacation coverage and other things like that, but I wasn't in the business constantly. I was able to work outside of the business and on the business, I should say. This helped grow the business significantly, and it made me very attractive to other companies who wanted to look to buy us at some point, or for me to partner. Now, doesn't mean that you have to make that decision to buy or sell or to do anything at that moment, but when you're attractive, people come to you and you have more options. Just like money in life. What does money give you? It gives you options. You can choose not to go down that road, but you have that option. When your business doesn't look attractive, you're not given that option. So tailored coaching. Now, what is tailored coaching? Honestly, this is what tailored coaching is. We sit down and we figure out, what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? And then we start tailoring your business. What is the ideal? What is the ultimate practice that you want it to look like? What does that look like? How many physical therapists? How many office? What kind of revenue? And then we start working backwards on that. We start kind of making it bite-sized. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Same philosophy. I have a plan on how I do it. I have a business structure on how I do it, and we put it together for other practices. Once we have the outline, we start figuring out what are the metrics we need to keep. What are the goals in those metrics that we need to keep? And yes, I am the accountability coach. I am following up to make sure, are these things being done? If not, let's problem solve. Let's figure it out. Is it a system problem, or is it a people problem? You don't have enough people, or do you not have the right people? This doesn't have to be contentious with the staff. This doesn't have to feel like the staff is revolting. This is something that's being done in the background, and we're putting in more order. And what you will find, and this is the crazy thing, the more order you put into your practice, the more people get attracted to it. Now, this is other physical therapists. This is other physicians from the outside. Like I said, physicians were approaching me. Interns were wanting to come and practice with us and work with us. And the practice was starting to grow, and the reputation was growing. I had opportunities to go on TV. Why did I have those opportunities? Because we were so organized. From everybody's point of view, they were looking at us and say, your company just does things right. It does things right because we are organized in a certain structure. And that's what we do when we work with practices. And I say we, but it's me really working with the other entrepreneurial owners. And this is what we're trying to put in. We're trying to put in systems in the marketing area, in the front desk area, in the production area. Now, systems doesn't mean you put in a system and then you walk away, but systems basically means you have a way of rolling out how you're going to do things. What is your ideal way of treating a patient? No two practices are the same. And no two outpatient practices are the same. Some outpatient practices are heavy sports medicine. Some are heavy vestibular. Each one is different. The KPIs or the stats that we keep on these practices are going to be tailor-made for that specific practice, okay? And you're growing. Now, a lot of people say, well, I'm not ready for that. Now, I don't understand that philosophy of I'm not ready for that. What are you not ready for? Are you not ready to make more money, to sock away more for retirement? Nobody's telling that you're selling your practice. That's not the goal here, to sell your practice. The goal is to have a better practice. The goal is to have a better reputation. And people will say, yeah, we have a great reputation. We do a good job. And I say, how do you know that? Well, patients come and tell me we do a great job. Yes, but what about the patients who don't tell you? There's so many patients that don't tell you. Those are the ones that have a problem and they don't say anything. You are hearing from the 2% of the people that are telling you nice things to your face. That doesn't mean you're doing a great job. Are you surveying all your patients? Are all your new patients being surveyed after the first visit, after the fifth visit, to find out, are you doing a good job? Those are objective results that you can look at, not subjective results when people just tell you nice things. That is not an objective organization. You take that information, that you get from these surveys, and you build a better practice. You constantly build a better practice by surveying your patients. You're finding out, you survey your physicians, you find out, what are we doing right? So those practices that care, they ask their patients how they're doing, they ask their physicians how they're doing, they survey. So back to the topic of when is it the right time and how do you know when coaching is right for you? If your revenue is plateauing, despite, strong effort, you're starting to feel like you're putting in more and more and more hours, and you're starting to question yourself on, hey, I started my PT practice so I can do it my way, so I can also have work-life balance, but it just feels like I'm working more and more and more, and sometimes it feels like I'm working just so I can hire and have other staff. If you're thinking also expansion conversations, but you're really not knowing how you're going to expand, you're like, yeah, I have a physician that's going to send me patients over here, or we'll open up and then we'll just get busy. That's not really a plan, and you're not sure exactly how to get that. Like I said, your margins are kind of going down, but your volume has been steady, meaning your expenses are starting to go up, creep up, but your reimbursement obviously is not changing. You're kind of figuring out that, hey, there's got to be a better way. Your leadership is basically you. It's you and only you. And you are the person everybody comes to, and you're the one that you have to kind of tell this person what to do, that person what to do, that person what to do. This means that at some point, your capacity gets reached and that you kind of limit your income. And if you don't want that, that's also when you want coaching. You have increased cancellations and inconsistent collections. All these things kind of make you kind of feel beat up at the end of the day. There is a better way. These are all the reasons why you reach out. Now, if, like we were saying before, and you feel like, hey, we're too small, that is not a reason why you don't get coaching. We had practices when I was learning all this management stuff that was just a solopreneur, and they were starting to get coached, and that's when they knew that they can hire. It gives you a roadmap, and it gives you a fast path. Both paths will probably or possibly get you there. One is going to have a lot of bumps, a lot of mistakes, and a lot of lost revenue. The other one is more of a straight path, and you'll make more money. Sure, you have to pay for a coach, but the amount that you pay for a coach is negligible because the amount that you get out of it is that much better. Wouldn't you like to pay somebody if you can cut off 5 to 10 years of mistakes and you can just get from A to B faster and you can make money quicker and to a higher degree? Sure, that's the reason why I did it. I put down money into a coaching program because I knew I could be a better business owner, have better employees, have a better system, have a better reputation, and enjoy better vacations, just enjoy a better life if I figured out and I had help from somebody else to do it. Think about the biggest companies in the world. They have consultants and coaches that help them. Think about any professional athlete. They have a coach that helps them along. Sure, they have the team coach, but they have personal coaches that help them along. The reason for this is we are bigger than just how much we can do. We have a lot more in us, and sometimes somebody else can see that and help us pull that out. We are sometimes myopic. In other words, we're too nearsighted to the situation. It's not that we're not intelligent enough to figure some stuff out. It's that we're just too close to the situation. And somebody who has experience, has gone through this, and has achieved certain things, they know the quickest route for you, and they can advise you properly. And coaching is not expensive. Coaching is set at a standard based on your company. No one is going to charge you more than you can afford and how much they can give back to you. And obviously you need to get along with the person. At the end of the day, you want to work with somebody that you enjoy and that you respect and that can mentor you in the right way. I have a lot of different clients that are around the country that I work with in that type of fashion. And like I said before, their goals become my goals, and I love seeing them succeed. Contact me, Amit Gaglani, if you'd like to have a conversation on what we can do with your practice. And if you like what I had to say, follow us and like us on not only LinkedIn, but YouTube and other places, and Instagram as well. Go get them.